Good morning. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to guide you through sunrise stretch. We will practice together for 25 minutes together. So as we start, just remember to listen to your body. If any stretches do not work for you, you can always skip them, come on out and modify. And things that you'll need for your class today is it could be nice to have a yoga mat close by just to give you a little cushion. And sometimes the block and the blanket can be nice to support you in the poses. So if you have that, that's really wonderful. But if you don't, that's okay. We can definitely work around that throughout the class today. So I was thinking today we could focus a little bit on the spine. So our spine moves in 6 different directions. And in yoga, we have a saying that if you move your spine 6 different ways each day, it can help to keep your spine strong, flexible, and pain-free. So I thought through the class today, we can just kind of flow through different movements of the spine, moving the 6 different ways, and just trying out some different stretches. And these can be really nice because it will just help to get the circulation and the blood flowing. And if the spine tends to be a problem area for you, if you have, maybe upper back pain, or maybe the low back is a little cranky, if the neck is a little cranky, this will be a really good flow for you. So it'll be a really nice opportunity to set the day right and just to help you be, pain-free throughout the day. So let's get started down and seated. And as you come into seated, if you wanted to sit on that block or that blanket, that can be nice. It can help to take a little pressure off of the knees, which can help to roll the pelvis forward a little bit. And it can also help to keep the spine a little straighter. Good. Now let's start with our neck. We can start by drawing our chin to our chest, lengthen the back of the neck. And take your gaze to the sky, gently relax your head back. And chin to your chest. Head relaxes back. And let's go one more time with the breath forward and back. Good. Let's bring ourselves into a neutral spine here. Take the right ear to the right shoulder. Lengthen in the side. Float yourself back to center. Realign here. Left to left. And then float yourself back to center. And we're just going to flow side to side here 2 times on each side. And so this is going to be wonderful movement for creating more flexibility in the spine. And if you're holding tension, if the neck is a little sore, this will be really nice for soothing that. Good. Let's take ourselves into neutral. Realign here. Gaze off your right shoulder. Nice full breath to lengthen. Come back to center. Let's lengthen here and gaze off your left. Back to center. Nice full breath. Lengthen. Gaze right. Back to center. Lengthen. Gaze left. And 2 more times. 1 time on each side. Good. And float yourself back to center. Now let's imagine that there was a clock in front of us and we want to run our nose through the numbers of the clock. So we're just going to work this really nice rotation here. Reverse, float in the other direction. Good. And stillness here. Let's start by taking the hands up and overhead. Fingers can interlock and palms will press up. Nice full breath here to foot. Shift to the right and shift to the left. So we'll just do a little wiggle here in the waist side to side. Take that time to pause, release to the right. And as you release to the right, try to press into that right sitting bone. And then lengthen through the whole side body, arm, fingertips. Back to center. Realign here, lengthen. Release off towards the right. Try to roll the right shoulder under, left shoulder open. Back on through the center. Take those hands onto the legs. Draw your chin to your chest as you breathe out, round through your back. Heart floats forward, shoulders relax from the ears. Chin to chest, exhale round. Flow with the breath here. We're just going to move through that cat and a dog stretch for the spine. This one creates a nice back bending of the spine and then a bit of a rounding of the spine. Back to center and neutral. Hands to the sky, breathe in. Release your hands to the right, breathe out, seated spinal twist. With your right hand behind you, feel free to grab onto the ground and just see if you can pull yourself into more of a twist here. Back to center, hands to the sky, full breath in. Release to the left. And back to center. Let's go 2 times on each side here. Good. Let's gently release those hands down and smoothing those movements out with a little bit of a circling of the torso. So begin to gently shift the weight around from side to side. And this will be a great movement for getting into your low back, getting into the mid, into the upper back. And circle in the other direction. And release. Let's take a moment to come down onto our back. And as you come down onto your back, you are going to begin to bring your feet in line with your knees. You'll have your knees bent, feet will be planted, and ground nice and firmly into your feet. We are going to work with our spine here. So we're going to take a moving, breathing bridge pose. Ground firmly into your feet. Zip up the core. Feel your low back lift from the mat. Feel your low back lift from the mat. And then tuck your tailbone. Feel your mid back lower down and feel your low back lower down. Tailbone tucks, low back lifts, mid back lifts. Tailbone tucks, mid back lowers, low back lowers. Flow here with the breath. So just moving to the rise and the fall of the breath. And try to feel each vertebrae lifting from the mat. Feel each vertebrae lowering down to the mat. Ground nice and firmly into your feet, inside and outside of each foot. Maybe imagine you could squeeze a beach ball between your knees. Try to feel that the legs stay active as you're lifting and as you're lowering. Let yourself come down. So tailbone will tuck, low back lifts, mid back lifts. And then we're just going to feel ourselves completely lowering down to the mat. And as the spine softens down, take the soles of your feet to touch. Bring your knees apart. Maybe hands on the body if you'd like. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana, This is a reclining bound angle pose. And this pose is really good for resetting the spine after we just worked with that back bend. With the help of the hands, knees can come together. Take your knees to your chest, tuck them in, and take a gentle rock to the right and a gentle rock to the left. Good. Let's do a bit of a rock and roll through the spine. We're going to come on up to seated. And then as you come to seated, float it into tabletop. So as you come into table, feel free to grab a blanket if you would like to pad your knees. We'll take our knees, our hips in line, wrists and shoulders in line, and feel the fingers fan out nice and wide. Ground through the index finger and ground through the thumb. Take a moment here. We'll work with cat and dog. Lower your stomach down, lift up through your heart. Tailbone will lower and crown of the head will lower. Flow with the breath here for a moment. So as you round your back, really try to press the ground away from you. Almost imagine a Halloween cat, that black Halloween cat with the spine very rounded. Good. Let's bring ourselves into a neutral spine here. Nice full breath in. Let's lift it up. We'll find our way to a down dog as you exhale. Toes curl under, sitting bones to sky. And shake it out a little bit here. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. Relax your head, yes. And relax your head, no. Coming into stillness here. Let's come on forward to a fold. We'll walk our toes to our hands. And then as you take your forward fold, let's shake it out here a little bit as well. So it may feel nice to bend one knee, to bend the other knee. Head relaxes yes, and head relaxes no. If the ground is feeling far away, maybe have a nice deep bend in the knees if needed. And you can always bring your hands on blocks as well if you need to. Let's take ourselves into stillness here. Hands to the right, side stretch. Try to ground evenly through both of your feet, inside and outside of each foot. Back to center, hands to the other side. Reaching and stretching from the waist. Lengthen the side body, arm and fingertips. Coming back on through to center. Rolling on up, let's float ourselves into a standing position. As you stand, take your shoulders up, back, and down. Grounding nice and firmly into your feet. Be intentional with the stance. So have your feet in line with your hips. Have your toes point straight forward. Hands come up and overhead. Reach for opposite elbows. Nice full breath here to lengthen. Take a shift to the right and to the left. Pausing, release to the right. Left hip to the left. Ground evenly through your feet. Back to center. Nice full breath to lengthen. Release to the left. Bring yourself back to center. Releasing your hands behind your body. Fingers interlock, palms touch. Maybe imagine a pencil between the shoulder blades. Nice full breath here to lengthen. Let's come on down to fold and exhale. Hinge at the hips, float it down. Try to relax the fronts of the shoulders and just noticing if that helps you move deeper into the shoulder stretch. Hands can relax onto your low back. Hands can float down towards the mat, flowing on up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. As you come on up to stand, take 3 shoulder rolls here. Take the shoulders up, back, and down. Breathe in and out. One more time. Good. Let's take our hands onto our low back. Fingers can point down. Feel free to take the feet wider out if you need to. We're going to work with a standing back bend. So for this one, begin to draw your hips forward. And offer this nice back bend here, and a couple options with your head. So chin can tuck, gaze down the front body, maybe relax your head back. And then let's just try to breathe here. So we're gonna breathe into that nice low back bend, mid back bend, upper back bend. Try to relax your shoulders from your ears. Open your chest and the heart space. Breathe in and breathe out. Float yourself back to center here. Find a neutral spine for a moment. Tuck your tailbone, lengthen your low back. Feet can come out even wider. We're going to take some big circles here with our hips. And just finding these large circles here, maybe wider. Widen those feet a little bit more, sometimes wider feet. Make it a little easier. And circle. Reverse the other direction here. Great. Let's gently release that one. We'll begin to take our feet together. Take a nice full breath in. Bring your hands right on up to the sky. Let's fold ourselves down, hinging at the hips. Planting your hands, float yourself into plank. Let's bring ourselves into a high push-up pose. As you find plank, lower all the way down to the mat. So I'll take a reverse push-up down. So as you land here on the mat, let's work with Sphinx pose. We're going to hold a nice gentle back bend for a moment. Hands can come out in front. Elbows in line with your shoulders. Maybe reach for opposite arms here. And we are just going to breathe. So as we're breathing here, we're going to breathe into that nice low back bend. Try to relax your shoulders from your ears. Try to open up the chest and the heart. Feel free to stay here. If you wanted to lift for more, you can. So hands press down, elbows lift up, elbows wrap in towards one another. This one is a low cobra pose, Bhujangasana. So it's going to get into the mid back a little bit. Feel free to stay here. You can also straighten out the arms. Try to relax your shoulders from the ears. This is a variation of a seal pose. Try to reach, try to stretch through the crown of the head. Come on down, create a pillow with your hands, relax your head down, and gently draw your feet to the right and the left. And coming into stillness here. Take your arms alongside your body and palms will face down. Glue the pubic triangle down. Lift everything from the mat. So we'll try to lift our legs, lift our arms. Try to open up the chest and the heart. Relax your shoulders back and down. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's hold it for one more moment. See if you can lift a little bit higher up. Float yourself down. Let's find that pillow with the hands. Head relaxes. Draw your feet to the right and draw your feet to the left. Coming into stillness here. Hands will come right underneath your shoulders. So we'll take the tips of the fingers in line with the tops of our shoulders. Pinkies in line with the deltoids. Also try to hug your elbows into your body. Try not to have them out to the sides too much. Move the tops of your feet down And try to lift it up to your navel. And if you can't lift to the navel, that's okay. But you don't have to lift higher than the navel. This one is not higher the better. So we'll just try to lift to our navel, glue the tops of your feet down, elbows hug in. And this one is really, really good for channeling that mid-back strength. That can be a little bit of a harder part of the back to strengthen. Let's float ourselves down. Pillow with the hands, head relaxes. Draw your feet to the right and to the left. Hands are right underneath your shoulders. Now walk your hands off to the sides of the mat, a foot on one side and a foot on the other side. Be tented up on the fingertips. And if you want to make the back bend easier, take your hands out even further than a foot on one side and the other. And if you want to make your pose more challenging, walk your hands closer into your body. Try to have your elbows pointed right on up to the sky. Glue the tops of your feet down, glue the pubic triangle down, and then try to lift on up to your navel. Elbows are pointing to the sky, breathing in and breathing out. Try to open up the chest and the heart. Relax your shoulders back and down. Give yourself a nice deep full breath in. Give yourself a nice deep full breath out. Float yourself down to the mat. Create a pillow with your hands. Head relaxes. Feet to the right, feet to the left. Stillness here. Let's press it on up. We are going to lift into a tabletop, settling into child's pose for a moment. So let's get nice and comfortable. You can either have your knees together, bring your hips back to your heels. It's going to open up your back. If you want a little bit more of a hip stretch here, big toes touch, knees apart, and then let's just let ourselves drop down. Feel the eyes closing. Your hips lower to your heels with your exhale. Feel your heart lower down with your exhale. And then breathe so deeply into the low back, mid back, upper back. Maybe doing a scan of the body here. Noticing where you're holding on to tension. With each exhale, let that tension go. Let your body relax. Let your body release. Bring yourself on up. We will come into table. And from table, you can sweep your feet to the right or to the left. Now just find a nice comfortable seated position here. Sit with your legs crossed or extended out in front. Let's take a nice deep full breath here to lengthen. Gently walking the hands out in front as you exhale. Just giving yourself a gentle fold here. This is such a nice stretch for your low back, mid back, and upper back. Walking your hands into your body. Let's take 3 shoulder rolls here. Take the shoulders up, back, and down. Inhale, up, back, down. And one more time, breathe in and out. Thank you so much for joining today. It's really great to be here with you. I hope that you're feeling better, and I hope that this set the tone for your day today. I hope that your spine feels really open and flexible, and any tension that you came to class with, I hope that that has released. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.